Hi there, I'm John Keirstead from Arctic Spas, Vancouver Island. Today I'm going to be talking about shocking your water. We get asked quite a lot, hey, I've been told in my routine I need to shock my water once a week or once every 2 weeks or after heavy use or that sort of thing, but a lot of people really don't know what shocking the water is. It's not sneaking up on it and scaring it. Right? No, it's not that. What happens is that depending on the type of system that you're on, shocking can mean a little bit different things. Basically, we're going to raise the oxidization capability of the water temporarily to burn off contaminants that would be in there, as well as if there's any reacted chemical floating around there, it kind of recycles it. It'll burn that off and free up the active sanitizer in the process of shocking. But we find a lot of people are quite sensitive to these chemicals, and as you know, one of the things that may be a little controversial as you contact other sources of information on the internet is that I believe that you should sit in less chemicals, not more. And so a lot of companies have these routines that they've that work. Don't get me wrong, they don't work, but it's a lot of different chemicals in there, and a lot of us are sensitive. I have sensitive skin, and so I don't want to sit in stuff that might cause me to have a reaction of some form. And lots of people have reactions to the sanitizers. They have reactions to the pH decreasers and increasers, and also the shocks. We have a non-chlorine shock, which is usually potassium permonosulfate, as used as a non-chlorine shock. And a lot of people, I watch a lot of the Reddit and the different forums and stuff, and a lot of people complain that it does irritate their skin. So wherever possible, you want to use the least amount of chemicals to maintain safe water. But I can't talk about shocking without addressing what you're already using. So if you're on a bromine system, you probably have some bromine tablets, and they're sitting in a ducky or a dispenser like this. You have that open. This is the slow dissolving solution. But you'd be shocked to learn when you look at this that there's actually chlorine in this as well. So lots of the people that I hear out there going, oh, I use bromine because I react to chlorine. Well, this has chlorine in it, right? So you could still react to it. And you can see it's poisonous. Don't lick the little things, don't suck on them, and melting hands. It's corrosive. So be careful when handling this stuff. When you shock with a bromine system, then we're going to have to use a similar type of product. So you'd actually shock with what we call peak boost, but this is again a chlorine and bromine mix, sodium bromide with some sodium dichlor. What's interesting is both of these are using stabilized chlorine in them, and so that's why I said we kind of have to talk about what you're using, because if you're using any sort of tablet or you're using any sort of current granular chlorine, like Boost, which is our sodium dichlor standard granular chlorine that you use, all of these are stabilized products, which means they all have CYA in them, which is cyanuric acid. And that's actually a hangover from the, well, it's a solution from the pool business, because what used to happen is the ideal chemical for hot tubs, the chlorine, one of the best chlorines you could use was lithium chloride. Lithium chloride is very fast acting, and it's got no stabilizer in it. Right? This, when I use in here, I don't have to worry about having this buildup of stabilizer. And there's a whole other video on talking about why you don't want that buildup of stabilizer. But the bottom line is that for your chlorine to be most effective, you don't want stabilizer in the water. The problem with lithium chloride is this bottle is like one of ours that we show like in a museum, because you can't get it anymore, right? This stuff is so rare because all the batteries and stuff that are used for cars and things like that are all based on lithium. So Elon Musk is the one that took all of your lithium, and so now they make batteries instead of this stuff. It just became too expensive. But what's interesting is that this is lithium hypochlorite. The best, in my opinion, the best chlorine you can use is liquid chlorine. First of all, because we're purifying a liquid, right? We're purifying a liquid, and this is liquid chlorine. This is this is sodium hypochlorite, right? So sodium hypochlorite. So sodium is a little bit bigger molecule, but they're in the same family of molecules as lithium. So this isn't quite as fast acting as this, but it's very fast acting still. And if you're on a saline system or a salt system, you use Spa Boy or Onsen or anything like that, this is the same type of chlorine that your system is producing in the water. So you're not using a different chemical in there. So with this can be used as a shock, right? So let's talk a little bit more about shocking. Shocking just means artificially raising the oxidation capability of the water to kill off anything that's in there, to burn off any contaminants that are in there and make your water fresh again, right? If you have a traditional maintenance program, you're going to have lots of buildup of chemicals in there, and shocking the water is going to free that stuff up and get rid of some of the other things in the water. Now, I said at the beginning of the video, the best product would be if I didn't have to add anything to shock from time to time, right? If I didn't have to have anything, well, ozone, this particular spa is peak ozone, and almost every spa we sell has ozone in it. And the reason is because unlike the chlorine shock or the non-chlorine shock like Refresh, the oxidation capability of ozone is many, many times stronger than that. And the byproducts are just oxygen, whereas this has a long chemical chain, and so it's more stuff in the mix, which is, I think, sometimes the reason why people's sensitive skin in the water is not just because of this chemical, it's because of this and this chemical mixing together, and you have these adverse reactions from that sort of thing. If you have ozone system on your spa, then what I would say is instead of shocking or instead of introducing another chemical into the mix, just increase the amount of time that your ozone generator is on, right? Each time it's on, you're not going to over-oxidize your water in this case. It is possible if your ozone was on all the time, you could possibly damage stuff, but if you have a good system that mixes the ozone properly so that you have a good reaction, there's always enough contaminants and reacted stuff in the water for the ozone to react with. And it's got a very short life. It is so reactive that it just wants to react quickly. So any time you use the spa, you're introducing oils and skin and different things to the water. It's dealing with those contaminants right away, as well as anything, if you have chlorine floating around there and it reacts and forms a combined chlorine, this ozone's going to split that, kick the chlorine out so it can do its job again. Hey, quit freeloading, get out there and do your work, right? And so that's what the ozone does. So the more you have your ozone on, the more you're going to be able to do this, and then you don't have to use that. So if I'm a chemical salesperson, I say never use ozone. It's horrible because you're not buying these nice chemicals from us, right? Incidentally, the liquid chlorine that we're using, this is bleach, like at your home. You probably have it in your washing machine area. The pool chlorine that we're using here is a much higher concentration, literally double what you'd get, or even a little bit more than you would get at the grocery store. And it's important that if you do use liquid bleach, that it's one without colorants or smells or anything like that, that it's just sodium hypochlorite, right? But yeah, that's one of the nice things. If you noticed you had heavy use and your water looks a little spongy, if you've got ozone, bump up your filter cycle and get that ozone generator working more. And if you have a little bit of half a cup of bleach in your tub, get everything running, leave the lid off. It's important whenever you shock or oxidize or add chemicals to your spa, get the jets going, get it mixing around, and let it react for at least 15 minutes, and then you can close your tub. I'm Keirstead for Arctic Spas Vancouver Island. Thank you for watching the video.